everyone, welcome back to Coaching Changes Lives. So glad you can join us in this video. Well, today I'm going to talk about clean language in the coaching process. Now, too often we've heard these new terms coming out here and there, things like clean coaching, narrative coaching, metaphoric coaching, somatic coaching, so many different kind of prefixes that seems to confound many coaches that are out there. You hear coaches say, oh, I'm this coach, oh, I'm that coach, oh, I belong to this group, I belong to that group. But they fundamentally do not understand what coaching really is. Now, professional coaches understand one thing. It's not about the tools, it's not about the techniques, it's about the coaching process. Now, a professional coach is able to utilize the right tools, the right skills, the right intervention at the right moment. So whether you're approaching it through a clean coaching or clean languaging process, a somatic approach, a gestalt approach, a cognitive behavioral approach, those are interventions. But when used inaccurately, will produce a wrong result. So too often, many coaches get very, very hooked up on all this latest new trends and new terms that they forget one of the most important principles. The important principle, it's not about gaining those new knowledge. The important principle is about being able to be masterful in your craft. Fundamentally, coaching is this. Coaching is conversational mastery. If you have not quite understood what conversation really is, if you have not really listened to your client, then learning all these tools, whether it's strengths-based tools, action-based tools, solutions-based tools, they're not going to amount to much. So the key essence here, really important as we begin our coaching journey, it's what are we using these tools for? Now, the tools are not there to use you. You are there to employ the tools in those right moments. Now, again, is there a tool that fits all clients and all contexts? No. And as such, in this video, I'm going to break down for us what clean language in coaching really is about and how do we use some of those techniques effectively in the coaching process. Now, more details will be found in our Mastering Coaching program and our team leadership programs all around the world where we help coaches to skill up and scale up their coaching practice. So here we go. Now, I want us to first explore what clean coaching really is. Now, there's this idea between clean coaching and also clean language in coaching. I like to call this as clean language in the coaching process. Why? Because clean coaching gives an idea that the entire conversation is all about using clean language. Now, that cannot be further from the truth. If you read the ICF core competencies under the embodying of the coaching mindset, the coach is employing a style that's flexible. Now, if we adopt a style that, okay, I'm just going to do clean, then what if another coach says, I'm just going to do an ontological approach, I'm just going to do a somatic approach, then they get fixated on that particular approach, but never quite listening to what the client really wants, never quite tuning into the learning styles of the client. So I'm going to break down for us as we go deeper in the exploration of how do we use clean language in the coaching process. Let's take a look at this. Now, in the coaching training process, coaches learn various tools, techniques, interventions, processes, and with it comes a set of professionally crafted way of speaking and communication. And often these professional sounding words distract the clients from the moment as they struggle to decipher what the coach is really asking. Now, clean language helps clients to do their best thinking by using language in a way that resonates with them. It honors their individuality and increases collaborative and co-creative space. So what this really means is that in the co-creative process, in the languaging process, we are utilizing a style that's flexible, a style that partners and honors the client's experience, a style that creates a safe space for the client. Now, when we think about this, think about coaching really as a partnership in a collaborative style. It's not about what I want, it's the client's outcome. And I'm there to facilitate the process. I'm there to support the client in that self-expression. I'm there to really uplift the spirits of the client. And that's my role there as a coach. So when I dive deeper in all these different facets, one of the things I'm really mindful about is how do I help the client to get to the outcome that they desire in the most efficacious way possible. So when we begin to explore this idea of clean coaching, is to really take away all the professional jargons, right? We are very used to using very professional sounding words to the client, and having this clients thinking to us, hey, what's this coach talking about? Can the coach just speak plainly? Why is the coach using such such really profound language, and I don't seem to quite understand what the coach is really saying? So one of my advice to coaches around the world is just use plain language, use the naturalistic language that is suitable to your community, that is cultural appropriate, and also that creates a sense of inclusion for the client. So let's take a look at the next part, which is the myth of clean coaching. Now, there's a difference between utilizing clean language in coaching versus clean coaching, where the entirety of the coaching conversation is based around clean language. Now, the clean language is not suitable for all scenarios, and various contexts and situations will require the coach to utilize the right intervention to support the client in self expression. So there's no such thing as a clean coaching. Rather, it's the application of clean language in the coaching process that judiciously that truly makes a difference. So there you have it. It's really important for us to be clear about these distinctions, because sometimes marketers, presenters, speakers may kind of wrap things up to sound really, really exciting, sound catchy, but they don't make practical sense. So that's why I always tell coaches, coaching is an art, it's a skill, it's also a science. But the mastery of coaching begins with that one conversation at a time. Working on it, deepening your understanding of the core competencies, going deeper, understanding the way you're conversing with another person. Too often, coaches want to rush the cultivation approach. And I truly believe in this, that coaching is a cultivation of the spirit, of the heart, of the mind, of the thoughts, so that we are becoming more aware of what's happening around us. The application of clean coaching, you have often heard me say this thing called metaphorium. Metaphorium is the engineering of metaphors, and that's when clean coaching comes into play. That's when we're using the client's metaphors and explore deeper, not my own metaphors. So too often, many coaches have learned that they introduce their metaphors, they give suggestions, they give a skill, right? In fact, I heard one of this coach one time use a metaphor of a soccer field. And they tell the client, they say, hey, Mr. Client, imagine you're in a soccer field. Are you the striker? Are you the defender? Are you the goalkeeper? And the poor client stared blankly at the coach and say, coach, I don't quite understand the allegory, because I don't really resonate with the soccer field. So you notice this. Metaphorium is the engineering of metaphors using clean language in the approach to explore the client's use and utilization of metaphors in a way that makes sense in their own world. And this is very important. So let's take a look at the deeper sense of it. So first thing we want to do is to frame the clean language as a coach. So as a coach, whenever we apply a technique, any technique or any intervention technique, it's very important for us to always remember, right? Always remember that the first thing is to listen attentively, being aware of our own assumptions and thoughts, exploring the client's worldview and the metaphors they use, and inquire and reflect their responses. So I love these 4 points. Listen attentively, not listening to kind of question, but listening attentively, attending our ears and our hearts to what the client is trying to express. What are the underlying emotions? What are the clients, wanting to say, but can't seem to find the right words? Or if the client's expressing certain metaphors and allegories, what are they really saying there? What are they trying to express from the bottoms of their heart? That's the first point. Because if we can listen well, we can then coach well. Now, next point is about being aware of our own assumptions and thoughts. How aware are you of your own thoughts? How aware are you of your own assumptions and your thinking process? Are you aware of how those, creates a sense of the confusion in terms of the way you ask questions? Are you aware of how your thoughts and assumptions influence the way you listen? Are you aware of your own assumptions and thoughts in terms of how they come up from your mouth and how you engage with your clients and how you speak with your clients, even how your body speaks with your clients? And that is an important process. Awareness is key and it's quintessential for every single coach that are out there. And also exploring the client's worldview and the metaphors they use. It's not about what I use. It's not about my choice of metaphors, because nobody really cares about what I know. The client is there because they paid us, they have given us their time to be there with us, to want to explore in a deeper sense how those things truly matters to them. And it's important for us to kind of go deeper, for us to explore with them in a deeper sense. So inquire and reflect their responses so we can go deeper than ever before. Now next, we're going to explore a different part of it, which is how we can use one of these techniques in the clean languaging process, right? I call this the clean language technique number 1. So this technique number 1 is a very simple technique, and we're going to teach you. And what I want you to do, it's not just to watch this video. I want you to pause. I want you to practice with me by pausing the videos and try answering the questions in the comment section below. And I want you to attend our programs all around the world. In fact, we have a series of programs. We have advanced programs. So this is taken from our advanced metaphorium program, where where mastery in coaching leaves off, this is where it continues in part 2, where we go deeper in terms of the metaphoric expressions of the client. Are you ready for this? So this is a clean language technique number 1. Technique number 1 says this: the first pattern we'll learn is, and what kind of X is that X? And is there anything else about X? Now, the X in this sentence, or in these 2 sentences, refers to the metaphor, word, expression the client used. So, example, what kind of a fork is that fork? And is there anything else about that fork? So, the very first technique is this, right? What kind of X is that X? Is there anything else about that X? Now, what technique is this? Well, this is an expression of keeping my language or my questioning very clean, no influencing the client's ideas or thought process. So when I hear the client expressing a particular metaphor, a particular allegory, a particular expression, I will then approach the conversation by asking them, hey, what kind of fear is that fear? What kind of confidence is that confidence? What kind of doubt is that doubt? What kind of clarity is that clarity? Right? That's what I want to express with them. Why is this question important? Well, because this question explores the underlying assumptions behind the client's choice of typology, of allegory, of expression. So when I ask you now, what kind of fear or what kind of fears is that fear? I'm asking you specifically, out of the whole range of fears, out of the whole range of confidence, out of the whole range of fogginess, of clarity, of confusion, what is that particular thing that is bothering you right now? That's what I'm asking you, right? And is there anything else about that fear? So I'm exploring that facet of fear, and also I'm looking at the corresponding facet of that fear. Is there anything else around that fear that is bothering you right now? So I'll give you an example. If X is fear, my question will be, what kind of fear is that fear? And is there anything else about that fear? Giving space for the client to explore, express, and in doing so, I'm fulfilling one of the core competencies known as evoking of awareness. I'm helping the client to see beyond the current way of their thinking. I'm helping them to stretch beyond the horizons of how they're thinking, how they're perceiving, how they're feeling. What kind of feelings is that feelings? Is there anything else with regard to that feeling? So that's technique number 1. Very, very important. Okay, so pause this video right now. I want you to post in the comment section below. Give me an example. Replace that X with something and type your X in the comment section below right now. Good. So having done that, we're going to go to the next stage. Here we go. Now, this next part, it's about exploring these 2 facets. I'm going to show you the expansionary effect of clean questioning. So when I ask a typical question, do you like X? Do you like confidence? Do you like fear? Right? It's a yes or no question. That's a closed question. Now, if I want to kind of keep it open, typically most coaches will do this. What would you like to do about X? What would you like to do about the fear? Now, this is about a response and actions that are narrow, right? So I want to create a response from the client, but I want them to focus actioning on a particular segment. But in the clean language questioning, what kind of X is that X? What kind of fear is that fear? I'm allowing the client to respond in whichever way the information means to the client, in whichever way. So I'm not just straight away wanting to just get the solutions. So too often people want to quickly get to the solutions, they want to get an outcome. I'm so solutions focused, I'm so results focused, I'm so result oriented. But they're never there with the client. They're never there present with the client. The most important thing is not about me, in terms of my solutions. We're so stuck up in solutions, but we're not really concerned about the person who's sitting right in front of us. Because the person matters more than the problem. And as such, when we use the clean languaging questioning process, we're responding in whichever way the information means to the client. What does that fear really mean to you? I'm exploring the different facets and its relationship and its connection to the client's own woe, because that is going to be an important facet as we explore the client's woe and the thinkings and the ideas around the concept of X. X meaning fear, X meaning confidence, X meaning whichever the situation, the topic the client is pressed against. So this 3, closed question, open question, and clean questioning, allows us to now see, hey, this is how we apply clean language. Now again, this is not applicable for all contexts. We can't be doing this for all contexts. That's why I often say this: clean language, when used appropriately, produces great results. But when used in a haphazard manner, we're not get anywhere. In fact, you're going to just make the client feel very, very make the client feels very very strange by your questions. Yeah, so very, very important. Understanding the context of application is more important than just trying new techniques all the time. And that's why I often tell coaches, are you a master of 1,000 different techniques, or are you a master of just one or two of those key important techniques? Underneath it all, it's the core competency, and it's very important that you go deeper in your core competencies. Now let's go deeper. So this is where I take us one step further. In clean language in metaphorium, it's the power of clean language is best demonstrated in the process of exploring clients' metaphors. Think about how someone would describe their life. I've been staring at the edge of the ocean, the distance between the sun and the earth, an oasis of refreshing, a journey into the unknown. How could we explore deeper the client's metaphor? Okay, how can we explore deeper the client metaphor? So when we hear the client's metaphor, remember in metaphorium we talk about this. When we hear the client's metaphor, when we hear the client's expression, whether the client says, I'm staring at the edge of the ocean, at the edge of the ocean, what kind of edge is that edge? And is there anything else about the edge of the ocean? Because that is something very curious that I want to explore more. So using the clean languaging in exploring the client's metaphoric expression, it's going to be so wonderful because by giving the space, we're allowing the clients to create the connections for themselves. It's very important that as the coach, I want to keep the environment sterile and I'm not introducing any foreign object. Too often, many coaches want to introduce their connection. The coach sees a connection, I want to connect for the client. No, if we do that, we are robbing the client from the very connections and very exploration that they need to go through. They need that process of discovery, they need that process of creation, they need the process of exploration and innovation for them to create the dots so that they can find congruence and alignment between who they are and what they want to achieve. And you know what? What they want to achieve, that is the small part. Who they are, it's the more important part. So often we hear these things. It's more important to be than to do. But what does it really mean practically? This is what it means. It's not about just asking questions just like this. No. In fact, today I hear a lot of coaches going around telling people that coaches are all about questions. If I hear that, I know for a fact that the coach has no understanding of what coaching really is. I know for a fact that the speaker has very limited scope of what coaching really is. And if I hear someone have a comedic expression that coaches are all about questions, then I know they have not truly understood what coaching really is. Okay, coaching is conversational mastery. It's not just questions. Questions are just one small part of the entire coaching process. Okay, are we ready to go deeper? I'm now going to show you an example of how this all ties together. So we're going to take it a little bit further this time. So remember we talked about what kind of X is X and is there anything else about the X? Now let's layer on the next one. Where is X? Or whereabouts is X? Where is X? Or whereabouts is X? So I'm going to give you an example here. The client says this, I want to feel more confident. The coach responds, and what kind of more confident? The client says, no fear and bold. The coach says, and is there anything else about the no fear and bold of that more confident? What kind of X is that X? The client's response, it is what I hope I can be more of the time. The coach says, and when you feel no fear and bold, where do you feel it? That is where is X, right? My whole body. Whereabouts in your whole body? That's whereabouts X. Client says, in my heart and feet. Then we take it further. The coach says, and is there anything else about that no fear and bold in your heart and feet? The client says, I'm beginning to feel it right now. And goes on further. Now notice this. This clean language techniques allow us to explore a huge range of facets about the client's ideas, meanings and connections around a particular expression, a particular thought that is really holding the client back. And this is very useful, especially when the client feels kind of betwixt, feels kind of ambivalent, feels kind of stuck, feels kind of unable to express or a lack of clarity, unable to move forward, unable to push through. This is where it becomes so powerful, right? This particular technique. Now again, in our class, when you come into our Mastering Coaching Advanced, that's when we go deeper in all these different facets. How do we use technique number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 to layer on and allow the client to express and experience something that is amazing? Okay, so if you like what you've seen here, I want you to, right now at this moment, to practice some of this coaching. I want you to try and applying some of this in your coaching practice as well. Take some practice, transcribe your recordings, engage a mentor coach, engage a coach supervisor. We have some of the greatest mentor coaches and coach supervisors here at Coaching Changes Lives. In fact, some of the best trainers and coach trainers are found here at Coaching Changes Lives across different languages. I want to encourage you to join us in one of our classes because this is where we can go deeper in clean languaging. So if you like what you watch and you want to go deeper, you want to explore more, you say, Jedi, you know what? I really love what you shared. I want to learn more about clean coaching. I want to join your class for specifically for clean coaching and clean language in the coaching intervention. How do we do that? How do we get more into it? Well, I want to invite you to come and join us in one of our programs, whether in our mentoring program, whether in our mastering coaching program or mastering coaching advanced programs, and whichever part of the journey you're in, maybe your ACC, PCC, MCC, I want you to continue learning. In fact, one of the coaches came to me one time and said, you know, Jedi, I'm already ACC, I'm already a PCC, but I want to kind of relearn again. I want to kind of join a program to relearn once again. Now, that is an attitude of a learning attitude. It's not just because I've attended an ACC program, that's it. No, you want to attend a program to really deepen your understanding of the communication styles of every single human being, understanding that conversational mastery takes time. It's a journey. And for you to understand that this whole process is to build awareness, a deeper sense of self, and for you to be able to serve your community in a greater way. So if you like what you watch, give me a thumbs up. Share with me a comment section below. Share me your testimonials, your thoughts about how this clean language in coaching intervention has helped you in your coaching practice. Right, so do remember to check out our Facebook and our Instagram account as well, because they have a lot of exciting materials. And do stay tuned because we have a lot of programs coming up. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, do drop us a message at coach@coachingchangeslives.com, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our programs really soon.